Hey everybody, Shay here for a quick update. It is the end of November at this point. Not quite December, but man, did time fly. Anyways, sometime in September or so. But I want to swing around to give you a little bit of an update as to what's going on. On my side, one of the drives, or my main drive that I had all of the YouTube content on, started failing at a sector error or whatever the hell it was going on. I noticed it in editing. The playback was very choppy, and sometimes my editing studio would crash on me because where I was dumping the files, whatever the sectors in that drive were starting to go faulty. That made me panic in September. I ended up moving, I don't know, a couple terabytes off of the drive onto my external drive, which is a 16 terabyte external drive. But I almost filled up this whole thing with all of my project files, which sync to Dropbox, where I store all of the stuff I'm working on, so that if something does go wrong, power outages, not go to file, or my systems blow up, whatever the case might be, things have happened. They always go to the cloud. Now, when the drive that has my Dropbox folder that syncs with the cloud, when that one is compromised, that's a big problem. That was a big problem. So that cost me a little bit of time to try to figure out how to reorganize all of my files so that if something went sideways, then I still had everything preserved and syncing to the cloud the way it was supposed to. Anyways, the syncing was going to take forever. Is the point? It took a week. It took a week to both move the files to the external drive, but then I also had to set up the external drive as my Dropbox backup file thingamajig, and I was like, this is too much for an external drive. It's not supposed to be used this way. And so I've been editing only the Tiny Tina episodes right now off of this external drive, and it's painful. And I always thought, I'm just going to wait until there's a deal to getting better and better and better, you know what I mean? And I'm just going to get a massive drive, and boom, 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 and the problem solved. Well, 2 months and a half later, and well, it's Black Friday, and there was a good deal. There was a good deal for a drive, and I was like, I'm just going to buy a drive. And I'm like, but how much does a PC cost? And then I checked the Dell website, and there was a pretty freaking good deal for their new Alienware machine. And then I ended up getting it. I was like, I'm going to need the drive anyways. That's a couple $100, and then I'm going to have to do this other thing, and that's like $100, $200. You know what I mean? And I was like, then I'm getting like $700 off of this thing. And so, you know what? I mean, I'm just going to get a new PC. This PC is still good. It's pretty decent, but I bought it in 2018. It's old, man. It's 7 years old. I bought it because the PC before this one was frying while I was playing Dragon Age Inquisition. I will never forget. I think it's the episode, where was it, 89 or something like that, and I did a test between the different systems, and it was a huge jump, even in the Dragon Age Inquisition quality while I was playing. Huge jump. But that was 7 years ago. Man. So I got this new one. It's going to be massive. It's got DDR5 RAM in it, and this one's got DDR4, so even that's a bit of a jump. Actually a pretty significant jump, the way I understand it. This is an Alienware Aurora. I believe it's a GeForce 2080 Ti. This one's a 5060. Man, I should have kept all this information up. I didn't think I was going to be talking about a PC for this update, but it's important. It's important because of the updates that I want to give. The update I want to give about what's going to happen for 2026. The point is, this machine is, if not 2 times better, probably 3 times better than my machine today. And so a lot of things are going to just be easier to do. I'm going to have all these extra drives that I'll take out of this one and put into the new one as well. So like space won't be an issue. The speed of processing would be a huge improvement from exporting videos to any kind of crunching activity. That's going to get better and faster and smoother. Recording stuff, I do crash. Even in Tiny Tina's Wonderland, I'm the one crashing in the game. I don't hear the other guys crashing. I'm crashing though. And so something maybe it's hitting the wall, you know, between like me playing a game at high quality and my capture software capturing the video game and crunching at the same time. Like, I feel like maybe all of that together, or maybe I have other things up behind the scenes. And so, I mean, that crunch is probably impacting my poor machine. So I just figured tonight, I'm just gonna buy a new. And then that's why I'm giving this update, because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to wrap things back up. I do have a plan that'll make sense when you see it, because YouTube released a new feature on the platform that was an absolute game changer. In September, after I said everything's going to be the same channel again, they released this feature, and I was like, I needed that 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I would have saved so much hassle for myself, for my audience. Just like I could have had this one feature would have solved everything. And so I've created a sort of model and working method, and kind of a way to run multiple channels, but feel like one identity. The thing that people who are long-term folks here, you've heard me talking about the struggle between the multiple persona identity and the difference between splitting the multiple channels, having one variety channel, the impacts on the algorithm and reach, and what was the real ROI that I wanted out of the experience, the return on investment. In my case, it wasn't money, it was time, right? So like, what do I want for my time? I will also say I did turn 48. I'm just going to say my age clearly and openly at this point, just so that you can get maybe a subtextual context to all of this. Not that young, folks. I'm not that young. So I just turned 48, and for me, all of that has culminated life events and stuff. The last 5 years have been pretty rough for a couple reasons, and but age and time was definitely a thing, health issues and whatnot, and so all of that collapsed all at the same time. That's all. And so I was definitely more angry about it in the past. I'm much like now. It's just, it is what it is. I did spend the last 2.5 months writing again. I've been reading a lot. You know, I think in August or September I read like 20 books. It's crazy. And so I started writing again, but my writing is very slow. I write about 500 words a day or something like that. I wrote for about 2 weeks, and I got to 7,000 words. It's a couple chapters for a book I would love to write. It's like it's an epic thing and all that. Maybe I'll talk about it somewhere else on another channel. And so that's a project I really wanted to focus on, but I work in waves. And even with something like that, with creative works like that, I work in waves. I'm really hard in for like 2 weeks. I get to a certain point, and then it just turns into like, how much did this amount to? 500 words a day? Jesus, but that was like hard focus. I had to stop everything else. And then it all turns into like just a time math. Time math is what it comes down to. I'm like, I could not have done that if I was doing anything else on the side. I couldn't have done it. I wouldn't have had either energy levels or just wouldn't have time. I wouldn't have had the time. So it's like, what kind of games could I play? But it would work in that kind of system, you know? And the reality here, and 2.5 months later, is I don't think it does with someone like me. For me, it's like I go in 2-week phases, and I switch gears to other things that are like appealing to me. And like when I read a book, I'll read like 3 books in a week, and then I'll take 3 weeks off. I got through 200 episodes of One Piece in like 2 weekends, like not 2 months, 2 weekends. So like, could I get through 1,000 episodes of One Piece if I focus? Yeah, because I'm that kind of maniac. And now I couldn't do reaction series to One Piece while doing that, but you know, this is like, that's kind of the compromise I'm kind of working with. It's like, I can't do a video on everything I read. I love to do more of that kind of creative work, and I will be in 2026. I've got a system for it. I think the new machine will help again because of the multiple camera setups. I want to do the manga delves again, for those of you who remember what those are. But it's going to all get started from scratch. There's no more migrations going on or anything like that. It'll start wherever it starts, and then we're just going to go on from there. But I think to respect the audience, and when people find a channel and the way that the algorithm works today, it's not really it's not subscriber based. You know what I mean? It's YouTube finds what you're interested in, and it'll serve you that content. But it's not very good at being able to tell the difference between types of content that it's serving to an individual that comes to a channel. For example, if you come here because of Dark Souls, it doesn't mean that you're here for Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Those two things do not mix. And more so, if you're here for gaming, you're not necessarily here for book hauls and me talking about books and stuff like that. So as much as I would love for the YouTube algorithm to be smart enough, because I thought it was going to be smart enough, now that all these new updates are out, I was like, it's going to be smart enough to know the difference. It's got all this AI behind the search algorithm, recommendation system, and all this stuff. And I'm like, it's got to be smart enough to know the difference between pushing a video game at someone versus pushing a book haul at someone. These are two separate things that I feel like just intuitively, you don't serve meat to a vegetarian. You know what I mean? So, but I learned very quickly, and because I've been through this for a couple cycles in the last 4 years, I just know when to stop. I know when to pull the plug and just go, nope. It's not, because things are already broken. Like, I can't break them further. And so while I was thinking this, I was watching a channel about lawn care. I was watching a channel. I love watching people just mow lawns and like fix things. And so on that channel, I click on the subscribe. I'm like, that's a pretty cool channel. It's chill. It's in the morning with my coffee before work. I just play these videos, you know? And I clicked on the subscribe button, and I saw this pop-up come up, and it showed me 2 different channels I could subscribe to. And I was like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? And then I was like, oh my God, that might be the bridge. I've needed this for 4 years. This would have solved all of my problems for 4 years. And it might not make sense to all of you hearing this, because like I'm missing a bunch of context for all of you, I'm sure. But a quick way to show you is you can go to this channel's homepage, right? Scroll down and you'll see a collaboration section. That's the new section that YouTube has unlocked for content creators. And what that means is I can release a piece of content. I can say that there's another channel collaborating with me on that content. Then you as a user, when you go to subscribe, YouTube will show you a pop-up that says all the channels that are tagged to that video. And so you can decide if you're going to subscribe to both channels, only the one you're collaborating with, etc., etc. So that for me was a bridge. And why is it a bridge? Because it means that I can do, let's say, manga read content for Honkai Impact 3rd or something like that, and I can do that on my read channel, but then I can set it up as a collaboration with the gaming channel because there's the hook there, and then it's like it's for both channels. It exists on both channels. I can see the data on both channels, Everything is for both channels. You see what I'm getting at here? It's like there's no more of switching. There's no persona switching for me as a content creator, and there's no more confusion for a user who maybe just wants to check the manga stuff out, but they don't care about the other stuff I'm doing. But if they're interested in me, they have a bridge now to get to the other content, and then it's all just one pool of content for the new YouTube algorithm. You see what I'm saying? Because you as a user, you're just going to go to the homepage and you're going to be served content, right? YouTube doesn't care what channels you're subscribed to. It doesn't care. It doesn't care anymore. It only cares about what you're enjoying in your session while you're on YouTube. And so I think this bridge will really, like for me, it's literally the golden piece. It's the golden stone. What is it? The keystone is what they call it. When there's like an archway and there's like that last stone, you just put in there and the arch holds up, man. So I have an idea now that uses that as leverage, and it literally folds everything into one identity across multiple channels that don't mean anything, because subscribers don't mean anything, so it doesn't matter, but the content feels like one pool of content for all of you, and for me as a content creator, because I don't care if I'm managing multiple channels at all. It's all just YouTube to me. It's not channel A, B, C, D. It's YouTube. I'm doing YouTube and I'm uploading to YouTube and I'm commenting on YouTube, and there's no difference to me. But especially with this particular method, is that as channel A, I can see the comments on channel B, man. It's a collaborative piece, and so I can see their data. I can see the impacts of viewership on that particular content and how it might, how doing that bridged content. I'll give you another example. I think there's a Dragon Age anime, for example, out there that I haven't watched yet. I can put it on the XEI React channel, but do a collaboration with XEI Gaming because the Dragon Age content is here, and now people have the Dragon Age LPs if they want to go check it out because they found me on the React channel, or if they find the LPs here, they can maybe jump over to the React channel because somewhere I'll do an update video or something like that saying that I'm going to be doing a reaction to this Dragon Age anime, but it'll be like a video here on the gaming channel, but it'll be like a co-update for both channels that someone can get in one place, which is my other problem I was facing, is like I'm giving an update on channel A, but that update might contain part of channel B, or I'm doing the same update on channel A and B and C, you know, and it felt very repetitious for me. Now it doesn't need to be that anymore. I can do one update, and on the update, I can reference any channel that I'm talking about, and then you just go wherever you want to go. As an audience, you're free to go wherever you want to go, and it's actually bound together though. It's not just like shots in the dark, you know. So that release, that again, it was like this synergy moment that happens in September, both my hard drive kind of forcing me to pause, me kind of getting back into reading like crazy. That got me into writing like crazy. And then I saw this update on YouTube where it's just immediately, like, it just clicked because I've been talking about this for 4 years, man. So tonight, or today, to be honest, I just kind of wrapped this up. Maybe I'll post it after this video. I was going back and forth with ChatGPT about, like, I just sending it all my notes for the last 4 years of, like, the stuff that I've, like, analyzed and, like, reviewed, and the data I got back, and these, like, scenarios that I've been, like, a dossier on my channel along the way, and the different changes along the way, the different name changes, and I just kind of piled that all in and had a conversation like this thing's a person. But anyways, I had some back and forth just so I could organize all of those thoughts into some cohesive story. And after whatever it was, 3 or 4 hours, like off and on, right? I cut and pasted the entire chat and I threw it into Google's NotebookLM, which is this free service that does like it generates podcasts based on notes you give it. It's a really good brainstorming tool. It creates like an animated presentation with the notes that you provide it. It's really, really good. It's really cool. It's really fun. I know there's people against AI, but listen, these tools are going to be everywhere. And this is one tool in particular I love using because you sort of have to feed it the information that it then makes cohesive. You know what I mean? Like the podcast is like they're talking, but it's based on only what you give it. You know what I mean? It's a very tight microcosm. You can expand on that and stuff like that, but that's the way I use it. Is I give it my notes and then I let it kind of talk to itself about my notes. And so I can hear a version of my notes that sounds like a conversation of two people talking that sometimes triggers a way of thinking or like a way of hearing, right? The words they use will sometimes make me either feel more confident I'm going the right direction or makes me feel less confident. I'm like, oh no, then something's still wrong. I still got to tweak it, right? So that kind of back and forth with NotebookLM is really fun. And then their new slide, they just released an update to NotebookLM that creates these slides with like illustrations and stuff, and I'm like, God, this is really good. This is shockingly good. It's scary good with what it outputted. I'll probably upload it to this channel and set it as the channel feature video or something like that, just so people, like, again, if they come to the channel and they're old schoolers, they can kind of hear like it's like a 10-minute summary or something like that of the last 4 years of chaos, and it's presented in a way that I hope, from my experience, it helps other people sort of not do what I did. literally, don't do what I did. And then to understand, like, at least take away the benefits of me having gone through that. And because I had pretty robust notes about it, it told a really good, cohesive, collected story in way shorter time than I would have, and I kind of did in this video or past videos. I couldn't possibly do it because it's too personal for me, right? And so I go down all of these subjective tracks that aren't important to the audience. None of you care about my personal dilemmas, you know what I mean? But what Google's NotebookLM did is it packaged it all so that it told a story that had a beginning, a middle, and an end. That was a takeaway, an objective takeaway for people who might be in the same struggle, or for an audience member to be able to also take something away from it. Because, you know, the struggle wasn't only just about my identity crisis on the YouTube platform, it's also about just time management and understanding how to evaluate value in ROI, whatever it means to you as an audience member. Not just your time on YouTube, but your time in life. Like if you're working on any project out there, how long do you do a project where it's not fulfilling anymore and you're triggering burnout? How long do you do that before you just say, man, I shouldn't be doing this anymore. I shouldn't be doing this anymore. And you have to go back to the table and redefine why you want to keep doing it, even though, you know what I mean, you're on this degradation track, but you're holding on to something. Well, what are you holding on to and why? And just redefine it so that you have a new path forward and you're in control of that ROI. You know, you're trying to create the definition of value that is meaningful to you again, so that you are invigorated to keep going. And that's what I feel like I've done, especially after tonight, after that exchange, this day-long exchange, where that summary came out of it, and with all those notes, it felt like it put a use to all of those notes meaning something, right? So even like all my notes and stuff, they're not just memories in my head. It's something I went through for 4 years. It's like, it's now collected into something that maybe I will upload that video after this one, just because it'll give context. For those of you who are interested, if you're too new here, you have no idea what I'm talking about, be grateful. Be grateful. But anyways, we're going to be, I'll come with more firm plans by 2026 when I have my new PC. It's coming in 2 weeks. Whew. Hopefully the blizzards don't knock it out. We just got hit by a blizzard here that just knocked everything out for the last 24 hours. It's pretty bad. So hopefully in 2 weeks, they'll be able to get up my driveway. They'll give me my PC. I'll set it up, bam, and then I will make a plan for 2026. And you'll start to see how it all kind of comes together. Hopefully. I think the new direction will work because I'm also not chasing anything anymore because of my age. I was clear about that in this update for a reason. I don't think I was ever hiding behind my age, but now that I made it explicit, I just hope, you know, some audience members, they're like, why the fuck am I watching an old dude play video games? Yeah, I agree. I agree. If I was a 48-year-old dude trying to act like a 25-year-old YouTuber, grinding 40 hours a week after a 40-hour job and having other side projects that cost like a lot of money. So like, yeah, sometimes you have to make a call, and now you have the context. I'm doing this casually. I want to reinforce the engagements along the way because that's more meaningful to me, more than being able to play the system, which is what I definitely got trapped in that loop. But I've been off that loop for about a year. It's fine. The next video I upload will be way more cohesive about this than I will ever be right now trying to summarize it. And I'm just going to like trip over myself and complicate matters with, again, subjective interjections, which aren't valuable. They're not important. I'm looking forward to playing games again. Outside of the co-op game, I've taken a break. I mean, Dark Souls, the first DLC, knocked me out for a while. I needed a break after that one, and I'm afraid to go to the second DLC. But now it's like 2 months later, and I was like, now are you like, it's gonna be worse now, buddy? Because like I was comfortable with the controls, you know. I felt like I had a pretty good handle on things, but every time I take a long break, especially for a game like Dark Souls, it's always a risky move to come back. But I think it'll work itself out. And otherwise, it'll be for the entertainment. But of course, I will be finishing Dark Souls 2. Of course. And then we'll see from there. There will be changes to the way I edit things. It's gonna be a lot more casual, folks. My content's already pretty super casual, but I think the editing's got to clip faster, not in like hyper edited, hyper attention grabbing mode. I mean, like, I don't think audiences care for the very long casual grind, especially my kind of long casual grind. I don't think it's for everybody. And I do have to appreciate just what the current modern audiences also would appreciate more, you know? I can't just be making videos for 35 to 40-year-olds that have aged with me over the last decade. At this point, I got to take the 25-year-olds into consideration. And I do think that there's like a turn back to people maybe being a little bit fatigued from the hyper-produced content. I do feel like people are maybe floating back to, hey, where's the more authentic casual stuff that you're just chilling Can we just chill again? Jesus Christ, like there's so much fucking chaos that I want people to chill again, man. And I feel like, I have an opportunity to like create a space for that, even if it's for 100 people, So we'll see what it means in the future. But I'm pretty invigorated again. I'm pretty excited about the opportunity because of working out this new model. And I just feel confident about that little simple update. It's so simple when you see it in effect, in play. It's so simple. It's so crazy. But I do have to change the way I produce things in order to make consistency a thing again. I would like to go back to daily uploads. We'll see what it means. So I'll catch you sometime in the future. Don't forget to explore, engage, and inspire, buddy. Peace.